Hello, sixth grade innovators. This is Mr. Chamberlain here, and I'm going to show you how to print your very first 3D print, at least in this class. So the first thing I want you to do is you should be watching this video on your Chromebook, but then as the instructions tell you, you need to go to one of our 4 3D laptops. They are labeled, but they're the ones that are right by the door to the Fab Lab. First thing you should do is go on to Tinkercad and then get logged in, and then open up your Minnesota project. So that's kind of where I am on my screen here. I've got my Minnesota project. It's done. I didn't put my initials on this one. I just wrote home, but I've met all the requirements. I already took a screenshot of it or whatever, and now I'm ready to print it. From this point, it will literally take less than 5 minutes for you to get it from here onto the 3D printer and starting to heat up to print. Here's what you do. You have your thing ready to go. I want you to look in the upper right hand. There's a box that says export. We actually have to export this thing onto a little card. So we're going to save it because we're going to 3D print it, and we'll always do a .stl. That's just the kind of 3D design that it is. Once I click on that, you'll either have this screen open, Simplify is this program that we use to print stuff, or it might actually pop up here and say the name of yours. You can click that too. Either way, it's going to pop up and it's going to look like this. Now, you might also notice other people's projects on there. See, I've got Minnesota Mr. C, but there's actually another one on there. So if you're the only one printing, you can go ahead and either remove the stuff that isn't yours, or you can also click or unselect, kind of like that. So we just want yours on there, right? Okay, we got yours ready. We're already halfway done. This is almost the hardest part. When you look down in this processes area, you'll learn more about that later, but for now we just want to make sure that it's CP right or anything that says right on it. Also, if there's only one choice, that one's it too. Once you've made sure that's the right one, we're going to click the Prepare to Print button down here. It's just going to confirm that we're using the one that's called right, or the one that has the word right in it. What you'll see now is this weird kind of view. This is what it'll actually look like when it's printing. It kind of shows you, I can even press play on it. See? And then it'll show it building from beginning to end, which is pretty cool. It also tells me some really important information. It says that it's going to take an hour or 59 minutes to build, and then it's going to use 11 grams of filament, which we'll talk more about that later. So now we'll save this to a little SD card. If at this point it seems like I'm going too fast, just pause as we go along, okay? Because I'm going to just talk and get this over with quickly. What I want you to do is go next door into the actual Fab Lab, and on the top shelf you'll see 2 little card holder sets. These are little 3D printer SD cards. I want you to grab one of them. It does not matter which one it is. And then take a look at it. On the side here, this is an SD card that's unlocked, which is a fancy way of saying it works just fine and not going to be a problem. If this little tiny gray slider thing is in a locked position, you can't save anything to it. So just make sure that it's unlocked. In this case, it's the gray part is up, or it's just not where it shows the little lock symbol. Okay, so you grabbed one. What I want you to do now is find the slot that it fits into this actual computer. So if I were to take my mouse and show you where you insert it into the actual laptop, it's down in the front of your laptop on the left. It's the front, so like closest to you on the left side. If you look underneath, there's a little slot for you to fit your SD card in. You'll know that you fit it in because once you push it in, you should almost immediately have this screen pop up. The screen means, yep, there's an SD card in there. What do you want to do? Well, we don't need to do anything yet, so I can X out of it. Another screen might come up saying it wants to check it. It's fine. You can X out of all of that. We just want to make sure it's there. Now that I have this thing ready to save, and now that I have an SD card in there, I can click Save Toolpaths to Disk, which means save my 3D print to a disk. You might have it pop up with other people's designs. Your design is right here, but go ahead and look at this bar. If it's not saving to the SD card or removable disk, it means the same thing, then you have to select it. The odds are it's not going to save there. So move down until you get to the computer part, and you'll find something that either says SD or it'll say removable disk. That's the one I want you to click on. Otherwise, it might save to like downloads. You don't want it to save there. It might save to recent places. We want to make sure that it's saved to the disk. So if you've got it selected, you might see other people's on there. You can give it whatever name you want. I'm calling this Minnesota Mr. C, and then I press save. Now, it doesn't take 1 second to save. It takes maybe 10 full seconds. So sit and wait for 10 full seconds. I think that's saved long enough. Now my SD card is ready to go. I'm going to take my SD card. I'm going to pop it out so that it's in my hand. Then go next door to one of the 3D printers, and if you open the little door on it, there is a slot right on the back side of the screen for you to pop your SD card in. You'll know it's in when you push it in and it pops into place. Once you've popped it into place, on the front panel, it lets you print it. So you just make sure the arrow is at print, you say OK, and then you can go up and down to find yours. When you find it and press OK, you'll know because it'll start making whirring noises and a bunch of little sounds. It has to heat up first. So my opinion is stand there or sit there, wait for it to heat up, and make sure that it's printing correctly. That's it. So hopefully it works, and you can take a picture of it when it's done and grab it.